I tell you, I'm a guy who loves the seasons, but man, I have had enough of winter. And I'm sure, like most of you, unless you're in the deep south or in Arizona, you're struggling with the cold as well. It seems like it's got the whole country frozen right now. But it looks like that hopefully this will be the last round of severe cold, and we can start looking towards the pre-spawn. I'm going to share with you some finesse creature baits. Not just creature baits, but twin tail baits from Megabass and Hide Up, Stagger, one of my favorite companies. You've probably seen this out already. I did a post on Instagram. This is the Megabass Rock Hog. This is the 3-inch bait, and I tell you, I'm loving this bait. This is an awesome looking little bait that you can fish standalone or on a jig. And if you notice here on the twin tails, it's flanged, so it kind of has that pincher shape to it. But as you can see, they're flanged, so that's going to catch water very nice when you're coming through the water. That's going to give off a nice little vibration, nice little wave pattern there. Here I've got it paired up on one of my favorite jigs, which I would probably trim this skirt down a little bit, but as you can see, it's got a nice little profile for a jig for your twin tail. This is a swim jig from Jackson Virage, but of course a little football jig or something would be very nice on this bait. I like the two appendages right here and how the body is real thick up at top, tapers down to the tails. That gives you a lot of rigging options and re-rigging. If you fished one, let's say on a Texas rig or a free rig, and decide you want to put it on a jig, you can unthread it and put it on a new bait, new hook, and it won't tear as much. So four appendages, excuse me. It's got nice ribs to it, as you can see, so it's gonna move water. Man, it's just an awesome looking little twin tail creature slash bait from Megabass that just continues to hit it out of the park, guys. I'm sure you'll agree. Megabass is top quality in whatever they decide to make. This next one is it's actually a complete system sold separately, but this is the little Stagger wide hog. And this bait right here is awesome, and this is going to tear the smallmouth and spotted bass up. If you look at that little bait right there, little Stagger wide hog, you see that? You can see it's got two appendages or two claws like on the bottom with the two middle appendages, and it has tentacles on the side, 3 on each. The thing that's very unique about this bait is it's got that little bait fish profile. The little body looks like a little minnow, little bait fish, bluegill, but it's got the claws and the tentacles for a creature bait. So this bait right here is, whew, man, I can see this will be definitely tied on here, hopefully in a couple of weeks when we get back on the water. There's a solid black. You see that? That was a green pumpkin blue. That's the solid black, and it's got the slit in the middle for rigging. And even though it's thin, you can see the thin profile on that. It's got some meat to it to allow for rigging as well. So if you wanted to, you can take and put like a little jig head. This is from Decoy. This is one of my favorite little jig heads for finesse swim baits and creature baits. But a little jig head like that, if you're fishing in an area that'll allow an open hook design, bluffs, rocky banks, so forth, a little open jig head like this will straight kill them. And this jig head is, even though it's small, I have caught numerous big smallmouth and spotted bass on it. It's actually one of my favorites in jig heads. It's that the way they've made that hook. It's extremely sharp, and when it sticks them, it gets them. So open hook. And then Hide, which is the name of the company that's made this little wide hog, also has micro / finesse jigs, little Hide slide fall. This is a 2.7. okay, this is on that wide hog. Okay, so it's a green pumpkin blue, match up on a green pumpkin jig. You can see the jig head shape there. It's kind of like got the arrowhead shape that's flat on the bottom. It's got a vertical line tie. I absolutely love this jig. It comes with a 1/0 hook. It's got I'll show you the jig without the creature bait on it, but paired up the slide fall jig with the wide hog, and you've got yourself a awesome little finesse package there, guys, that will absolutely catch them. There's just no doubt about it. The shape of this jig head is what really got me turned on to it. That's 3.5 gram. Of course, Hide is a JDM company. I've showed a couple baits on here. I've got a lot more to show you guys. I was hoping to transition to water by now, but looks like we're going to have to wait a couple more weeks before I can show you some on the water footage. But that's okay. We'll get there. So here's the slide fall jig. This is an awesome little bait fish because it's got some pink hue to it. As you can see, it's got a little double barb keeper on the hook shank. These are 1/0 hooks. They're Nogales, if I said that right. Nogales. Awesome hooks. Very sharp. These hooks are extremely sharp. This is just not a cheap little jig. They really built an awesome jig right here with a vertical line tie to come through cover. And let you look at the shape of that head design again. I love the titanium color. It's got the no chip head on it. Of course, they are hand tied, so these skirts they're not going anywhere. Very fine material they used on these skirts, so you're gonna get a lot of flow in the water. And I love that on my little micro jigs. Just a nice little fine skirt material, silicone. That is an awesome little finesse / micro jig, guys, right there. And if you use BFS like myself, which is bait casting finesse gear, Megabass has a rod out in this, and that's what I'll use. That's what I've used on some of these other finesse options that I've showed you. It is a Megabass Destroyer Speed Tip Custom. It's only a 6'1", and I use a lot of longer rods. But I have found when I moved up north from down south and found out what true winter fishing really is, it's a lot different up here. I had to, of course, adjust my game and start fishing a lot of smaller baits. Excuse me. And I found that shorter rod, the 6'1", when I'm working that bait, because when I'm fishing a bait like this, you know, when the water's really cold or when the bite is extremely tough, you really don't want to move it that much. You know, when you got a bait like this sitting on bottom, and the shape of this jig head and the way they made it allows it to do that, you just want to inch it. And that 6'1", when you're moving your bait, it doesn't move as much line. So, you know, and I'm a fast, you know, fisher. I want to power fish. I want to move and fish, and you just can't all the time, unfortunately. But that shorter rod allows for me to slow down and to keep, more importantly, to keep that bait in the strike zone, pinned to the bottom, instead of moving it too much. I don't know if you've noticed, if you ever checked yourself when you're fishing, you're moving your rod, you think you're only moving a little bit, you're actually picking that jig up, you know, a good half a foot off the bottom and letting it fall. And then sometimes that's a good thing. You'll get bit like that. For the most part though, when you are encountering difficult conditions, you want to keep that jig on the bottom and just inch it along. And that Destroyer Speed Tip Custom is perfect for that. And there's of course several rods that are good. That's just my preference. It doesn't matter, you know, whichever you have confidence in is what you should go with. But if you haven't tried the shorter rods for presentations like this, I give it a shot. You may be surprised how many more bites you get and how much more productive you can be by using that shorter rod. You know, you're moving less line. I'm probably going to not go over 10-pound fluoro on a bait like this. I'm going to try to stay in the 8 to 10-pound range. That rod's got enough tip to where you can make casts with it and pitches, but you can drive a little hook like that 1/0 hook and get them pinned, and then it's got the backbone to allow you to fight the fish, because you can't horse them, of course, on that light line or smaller gear and get them in the boat or on the bank, wherever you're fishing from. So give that shorter rod a try with these baits. Now, of course, on this rock hog, when I've got it on a jig like this, I'm going to jump up to 16, 18, maybe even, you know, stronger line, depending on the cover I'm fishing, where I found the fish at. That rock hog is going to be an awesome little, I'm going to say you could free rig at, along with a bait like this. You can free rig it with a bait like this right here. Also free rig this little bait, jig head, open jig head. It really, like I always say, it's just your imagination, guys. Let your imagination run wild and fish it how you want to. These are all just suggestions like you see all over, of course, YouTube and Instagram. So, but we all learn from each other. And I can tell you that if you check these jigs out, here's a package. Slide fall jig from Hide Up. I'll put in the description below, I'll put a link to their website so you can check them out. Fishing baits like these, you learn from other guys, and then you put your own little style to it. That little package there, right there, though, guys, I got off track there a little bit. Excuse me. That little finesse package right there, that's money right there. I mean, it's got that little crawfish profile, that little creature bait profile, and that is going to be perfect for when the fishing gets tough, or cold water, of course. It seems like these two new soft plastics and jig can definitely be added to your arsenal. Help you get more bites, catch more fish, which we're all after. I wanted to mention I've got a giveaway on Instagram right now. It's a pretty good giveaway. You should check it out at @southernbasser_. I like giving away baits. I do it quite regularly. So, but thanks guys for spending your time with me. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you checking out my videos. I hope you stay warm. I hope you have a great rest of the week and weekend coming. God bless and tight lines, my friends.